You're listening to Ragna-Rock on 103.5 The Sun Community Radio, coming to you from the 103.5 The Sun Studios, underwritten by the Bank of Sun Prairie. I'm your host, Graham, and I'm playing all sorts of metal and rock, and that last song you heard was Old Magic by Monolith, who we have in the studio with us right here today, doing a round two, promoting their new album, Synthetic Misery. So to just start things off, for those who didn't tune in to the last interview, I'll just have you guys do a quick introduction of the band and go around and say who plays what instrument and does what.
All right. Greetings, gamers. This is your boy Dylan Dees. I'm rocking that bass guitar over there.
This is Connor. I'm over on the drums, just doing my best to hit some things with sticks and make it sound somewhat good.
I'm Andy, lead guitar and hugs.
I'm Ryan, rhythm guitar and vocals.
He's also head chef.
Nice.
Renowned.
All right. So yeah, as mentioned before, you guys have a new album out, Synthetic Misery. So I guess I'm going to ask you about when you started recording and who you recorded with, and just general how was it recorded, all that.
So as for when and who did that, it was over the summer of last year about, and it was with Will of 1459 Studios up over out of Minnesota, or Minneapolis rather, and in terms of the how it happened, just, standard multi-track. He did a great job of getting the best takes out of us, finding what sounded good, and the mix, in our opinion, sounds phenomenal.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I'd say pretty much the same thing. We kind of did it a little interestingly, I would say. So each individual band member went up at their own time to record their tracks individually. It just worked out better scheduling-wise, as we all have regular day jobs. It's kind of hard to fit in a 4-hour weekend trip with all of us at the exact same time. So Connor went up first, laid down the drum tracks, and then Andy and I went up, laid down the hugs, the bass, and the guitar parts. And then Ryan cruised up himself and then cooked up some mean vocals. So it was pretty, I would say, scattered process, but it definitely worked out really well. It allowed us to maximize the time that we were up there. Made it really efficient.
All right, nice. So next, maybe let's do a track by track on just each song on the album. What's the general idea, and maybe some lyrical themes for each, and who wrote what, and all that.
Just to start with the general who wrote what, just for an overall vibe, those certainly will have people come in with I got a structure of a song, or I got a riff to start with. Generally, we each play to our strengths. Generally, one of the boys, either Andy or Ryan or Dylan, will come in with some sort of riff or general vibe. I will take that and add some underlying rhythm to it, kind of some structure with that, and help determine that. And then, of course, we have Ryan with the masterful lyricism over here, just destroying it with the lyrics, which still impress me every time I take a look at them, and could not do that myself. But then song by song, if you boys want.
I mean, yeah, I would say every song is definitely a collective process. Like Connor said, we all each add our individual flair to it. Usually it is either Andy or I coming up with a riff, or Ryan coming up with a riff, and that comes from a variety of different influences. I'll be listening to an album that I really like, or I'll just be jamming out in the car, and then something will just come to me, and I'll be like, okay, I want to work that out on my guitar, and then I'll send it to the boys. We'll sort of dissect it, hash it out, and then out of that will come a song. So every single one of these is going to be a collective effort in some way, shape, or form. I would say Old Magic, the song we just listened to, is probably the most collaborative. Every single person had a say in pretty much every aspect of it, so I'd say that one's pretty strong in that regard.
Yeah. As far as lyrics go, I try to kind of keep them not about anything specific, really.
Okay.
I try to make it up to interpretation, but also
sure.
Vaguely implying of certain things. But
yeah.
We try to kind of keep it around the realm of kind of like the sci-fi fantasy thing. So I'm able to kind of do some more wizards and dragons stuff if I wanted to. But I could also kind of do more deep space kind of weird alien stuff. So
Nice.
I feel like we kind of gave ourselves like a nice little like realm of which we can kind of move around it and still keep it like thematic to what we're trying to like shape as like an image. So that's been kind of fun.
Okay. Yeah.
Certainly, in terms of track by track, all I can say is it is, if you give it a listen to it, all over the place, inspiration-wise, song to song. We got stuff more Testament, focused. We got stuff that's kind of Opeth. We got, y'all can just list off the inspirations, but they all have their own vibe to them. You kind of, you have a new feeling every song.
Yeah, the album really is just a sampler platter. We have straight thrash metal, some pizza metal, as Andy very affectionately calls it. We have our 9-minute black metal epic that closes off the record. We have a 3-minute beater with Manifest. Like, it's really all over the place. So that's what I really love about the album, is that there really is something for everyone. We don't really like to tie ourselves down to a specific genre. It's pretty much whatever's fun to play, whatever sounds good, we just slap it down and we make it happen.
Oh, it's fun. So it's interesting to see what kind of ends up coming out, because the set really takes you on like a journey through like all 95 subgenres. It's pretty entertaining.
Yeah, that was something that I definitely noticed, is it covers a lot.
That was definitely a decision when we started, because we only had a couple of basic demos from Andy's original work when we started. We can get into that in a sec, of course. But we had this thought of, well, do we want to kind of stick with this feeling, this vibe, and kind of tie ourselves down? And we kept on having these demo ideas that were just so different stylistically, and we thought, instead of tossing these out, let's just go for it, and just whatever we think vibes at the time, we go for it and put it out to a song.
All right, cool. So my next question is, if there were any changes that you had to make to any of the songs in the studio as opposed to playing them before.
Honestly,
not too much, really.
Yeah.
It's one of the solo for Bang of the Hounds. I just improvise that one every time we play live. It has like a general skeletal structure, but I just sort of fill it in. And so I took 3 takes of it, and each one was different. And Will was like, "Well, I'm just going to blend these together because you clearly don't know what you're doing here." But all the rhythm parts were just note for note. Like, we had everything dialed in before we went up there, because
it was pretty set by the time we showed up. I mean,
he doesn't like it when we improvise in the studio, because it's kind of a waste of time.
We get in there, we know what we're playing. It might take a couple takes to get it just so right, but it's going to be basically the same thing with some inspirations and some improvisation here and there, but mostly set by the time we go in.
Yeah.
I feel like the only little difference between our live set and what we recorded was that we just use a lot more like fun samples during the live set.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of noises and like little like background stuff and like gunshots and explosions.
Yeah.
Like, it's a little.
It's just for the fun.
Yeah, like, you wouldn't want to put that on the album. But it's still like at the show, it just makes it more entertaining for people who are there to have like this.
Oh,
so
sure.
we kind of spiced up the set live a little bit more than what we recorded, just to make it like entertaining.
Yeah. All right, let's see here. My next question is about the album cover art. Like, who did it, and did you give them like a very specific idea of what you wanted, or did you say just have fun with it, or somewhere in between? Or?
I think his like account name is like Blast Art.
Okay.
Shout out to him. But I just kind of told him like the general idea of like we want one of those kind of like sci-fi like evil laboratory things.
Yeah.
Some guy just. And I kind of like roughly sketched out what I wanted. And if we took the picture I drew, held over the album cover, it'd just be like a worse version of what was on.
Nice.
So he definitely knocked it out of the park. It was like when he first showed me the idea, I was like, yes, that's exactly what I was thinking. So it was really relieving just like not have to worry about that in that regard, and just kind of like, like have some guy just like deliver exactly what I was thinking about.
Okay.
Very convenient.
Yeah.
Nice.
We're hoping to get him for the back of the vinyl as well, if I recall. So we should hopefully be working with him again soon.
Yeah, I definitely can't wait to see how the vinyls turn out.
Oh man, you're gonna love it. They are cherry.
They are in production officially, so we should have those moving along the pipeline.
Nice. I guess let's go around and what's each of your favorite songs off of the album?
Oh, Ryan, you want to kick off with that?
I think to play, I would say Vitch, just because the flow it goes through. It's such a long song that like, and the tuning is really fun. It's like the only really one that has like a dropped kind of like tuning a little bit where you can
Sure.
just like bar it. So it's a lot more fun just to kind of like mosey on through it and just like we usually end with it, so it's always really great to like if we have a set long enough to play it, which we don't always have that time. So every time we do, it's like, hey, let's
Oh yeah.
let's play the fun one. But I think just like with the mixing and recording, I think Old Magic was probably my favorite, just because when I was working with Will, he kept throwing all these ideas at me that I didn't actually plan on doing, and he was like, "Here, do that again, but like." Wait a second, and then come in with like a higher scream or some stuff, and then I would like go back and listen to it. I was like, wow, that sounds so cool. And so like I really liked how much more was added onto that originally. So that when I heard it again, it was like better than I even like I originally intended it to be, which is really kind of fun to see that happen.
Nice.
I think my favorite one to play live is Bang of the Hounds, but I think on the album Old Magic turned out the best. It's like the most dynamic, and we all had a lot of input on that one.
Yeah.
And during the clean part, if you listen quietly, you can hear me eating beef lo mein in the studio.
Wait, seriously?
No. I'm just kidding.
But listen for it, it just might be there.
It's there. I'd have to say, Old Magic is definitely one of my top. From the bit that we heard at the beginning of the show or pre-show, I like the timing change-ups, especially near the end, kind of going from that like halftime, double time kind of a thing.
Okay.
But in terms of the one that's kind of most rewarding to play, I'd say Manifest. It's one of my more complex ones to play live, and it's always kind of fun to really push and get the speed out there and the different bits at the same time. So I'd say those two are probably the top for me.
Nice.
Yeah, I would say I'm probably pretty much in the same boat. I mean, it's hard to pick your favorite song because, like,
Right.
I'm not a dad, so I can definitely say that this is like choosing between my favorite children. I totally know the comparison. But, like, in that capacity, it really is. Like, we've put so much time and effort into all these songs and all these tracks, and we've played them so many times. Like, each one has some amount of significance. I think Manifest was probably the most fun to write, and it's definitely a really fun one to play with, like, a very energetic crowd. Because, like, when we first wrote it, I pretty much wrote the entire song because I was on a huge like Testament kick, and I threw it at Connor, and immediately he was like, "I know what to do." So that song kind of just happened pretty much immediately.
Nice.
And that one, it's just so high octane. It's just 3 minutes of just absolute insanity, and then just bam, done. And that's just really, really fun to play. But same as pretty much everybody says, we got a consensus every time Old Magic kicks in, and as soon as we start playing that, every show, the crowd disappears. There is nothing else in existence but me and the three guys around me, and I just completely lose myself in that song. It's just such a vibe. So
Yeah, that's
I'd say, that's probably
that one's pretty fun.
that one's at the top
Well,
all
especially
around.
when our part comes in.
Yes, I do
drums
love
and bass.
the drums and bass groove. That one's a lot of fun.
Well, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Nice. Let's see. Do you have any fun stories from the studio?
A lot of Chinese food.
Yes. Yeah, when we first recorded the singles way back in, I think, January, beginning of this year, the first night that we did recording, we went out and got Chinese food, and we got an inordinate amount of Chinese food. Yeah, we feasted,
it was a
yes.
feast.
It was January, but it was Thanksgiving. It came early.
We
that
all
year.
went up for that section, unlike the other one. So
Yes.
not as many stories for the actual the main album portion, since it was really just like I went up and I crashed overnight and got it all done in a day and dipped. So not too much, but that first set of singles was quite a time.
Mm-hmm. I do have one funny story about when Andy and I went up. So the recording for which I had to do the acoustic portion for like the intro, or at least I tried to do it because I wrote the intro for which. And this is where Will really shines as a producer in all categories, because we did an acoustic recording with the acoustic guitar, like with a mic in front of it, and I tried playing it, and I knew it wasn't the best because guitar, especially acoustic guitar, is not my strong suit, and I played through it once, and I just heard Will say over the talkback mic, "So that was bad. We're going to try it a couple more times." And I was like, "All right, man."
Thank you for the honesty.
And
Yeah.
I think I tried it one more time, and he just walked in the door, just looked at me and said, "Show me the part." And I was like, "Yep, please, just hop in the hot seat, do this for me, I beg you." And So Will just absolutely saved that song. He hopped in, did an amazing job with that.
He also has a couple of backup vocals for
For Bang of the Hounds.
Yes, during the chaos, the crowd shouts. We did some crowds, but it just was still a little anemic. It was a bit too thin there.
It was missing the czar of the tones.
And he went in there and did some extra crowd layering, and it came out fantastically.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Thank you, Will.
Will has been our shining star in this,
Oh my
and we
God.
will
Mm-hmm.
rep him and hopefully see him again sometime soon.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Nice. Let's see here. So what would you do differently on the next album in terms of creative direction as well as production, or just really anything in the studio, and what might you keep the same?
I think as far as production, I mean, Will's got us pretty comfortably in his pocket. The work that he does, his ability to work with people is really second to none. So, and he doesn't even pay us to say this, but we just genuinely love that man and all the work that he does.
Will, that check better clear?
That being said, I mean, yeah, kind of like the boys were saying, like, we really did our homework before we went in. So there wouldn't be a whole lot that I would change as far as production. This album was pretty disparate as far as like genres and categories, and we've kind of discussed how we want to proceed with the next effort, whether we want it to be a little more concentrated, still be pretty smorgasbord style. So I guess that would be the next thing, is kind of figuring out what sort of direction we want to head to next, if any, or if we want to just keep saying we're Monolith, take what you want.
I would say that's definitely going to be heavily influenced by how the demos are going. We have a couple we're working on.
Mm-hmm.
And so far, they're a smorgasbord. So as of right now,
Nice.
if we just continue as we did last time, it's going to be a variety pack again. On my own note, the only thing I think I would change, which the guys are aware of, I've chatted with them about it, is that I was having some trouble tuning in some of my gear. I had some stuff that needed replacing. The cymbals were wandering, and things weren't as tight as I'd like due to the looseness of the kit. But I've thankfully been able to get that pretty much sorted out, so next should be a couple few less takes due to technical difficulties, which would be I'd like that.
I like some of the samples we have live, and I want to have more of those on the next album. Just keeps everything really atmospheric.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that too. I think we could, for this next project. This first one was definitely, I love everything about it, but it was very bare bones. It was very raw in that sense, that there wasn't a lot of like extra production qualities like keys and stuff. That would be really, really fun.
Yes,
Yeah,
we've talked about adding some keyboards.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I know as far as like writing structure, we've kind of tried to like wander from doing like formulated songs and just maybe like, you know, go back to a part once maybe, but then just leave it and just go somewhere else, just change up the time and go just kind of wander off into a different thing and just kind of have to see how they flow and try not to just like make like the whole like intro verse chorus
Right, like
chorus.
cookie cutter songs, yeah.
I feel that Old Magic and Vitch kind of
very much.
entered us into a more prog-ish vibe, which I think we all very much had fun writing.
Oh, yeah.
And it came more naturally than we would have thought going into it. So that might be a bit more deeply explored going forward.
Yeah. It does make the writing process really fun because like you're not really like worried as much about like, am I writing this right? Like, is this like correct? Like musically, you're more just like, this is fun. Like this sounds cool.
Yeah.
Like this is heavy. Like this part's really fun to play. Like it's just there's just a lot more factors. You don't have to like worry about like structuring anything. And like if you just have a riff that works with this one, and you just keep slapping them together, and then eventually you play it 10 times live, and you've changed so many parts that now it's like it's a completely different song, but everyone just really has a fun time doing it.
Yeah.
So it's been a great,
It's my favorite type.
fun process.
Nice. So this next question is for those who are, currently in other bands or have other projects going, and it's kind of like how might the creative direction of the music or even the songwriting process really differ between bands? How might it be similar? And how does one sort of balance out being in multiple bands?
I feel like I'm the
Most qualified.
The only person
We're all
that
staring at you here.
attest to this. I feel like all the bands I'm in are so drastically far apart as far as their core sound that
Sure.
it's like the whatever the Venn diagrams aren't even touching.
It's two circles.
So I'm really not like it's like a left brain, right brain kind of thing.
Right.
I feel like they never really cross paths close enough. And every time I like come up with a song idea, I'm very obvious of where I'm supposed to put it.
Yeah.
And I also have this bad habit of every time I can't think of something, I'm just like shelf it. If I get enough songs that sound like this, I'll just like make an EP, make some random band names, on there, and just release it. It's done. All those goofy, like, whatever, 2000s alternative rock songs, out. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just make a band, forget about it.
Got the flamenco album out next.
Smooth jazz.
Should have never got that acoustic, classical guitar with the nylon strings, man. It's dangerous.
I got one in the back room. We can use it.
Of course. But yeah, I would say the process is really going to vary based on the individual. We are really fortunate that we have a really democratic process. I would say everybody contributes pretty equally not necessarily in the same capacity, but everyone contributes something of equal value so that we all can make this work. Some people might find a more auteur process where they handle most of the heavy lifting would work better for them if they want to be more creatively dominant, I would say. But that's not really what we found works best for us. There's no Dave Mustaine in this category. There's nobody who really likes to spear the charge.
Andy there.
If I get too bossy, they point at me and they say he's mistaining us.
It works. It works like a charm.
What's funny is he's not even being bossy at those times. He's just like, hey, you guys want to go get some food? Mustaine!
But really, that is what works best for us, is just making sure that everybody does have a voice and that we're heard. And honestly, even though it's not always the most efficient, it's by far the most unstoppable method. Like, once we're all on the same page, we just get after it.
The first two letters of Megadeth are me, M-E.
The Mustaine experience.
Mustaine experience.
It definitely makes the writing process a lot more, like, fun and, like, carefree, because instead of, like, trying to, like, worry about, like, racking your brain, like, oh, what comes after this? And, like, you can just come to practice and be like, this is the riff I've been playing on, and then someone's like, play that again, and then they play with it, and then they kind of like flow into something else. And you're like, yes, that works, and then it just like creatively like it helps you get through your blocks really well, because it's like it's stupid to try to take the brunt of everything on yourself and just be like, I can write. Like not everyone just has this infinite library of songs in their head and they can just flow out. Like sometimes you just like can't think of anything specific that works with that. But having three other people that can just listen, and especially Connor's ability to just like take literally any riff that you can throw at him, and he just make it sound amazing.
Yeah.
The drum beats do show up pretty quickly, I will say. It's nice.
Thank you. Same to you with lyrics for fucking Dylan with the tasty bass. I've never heard you just do a follow the route, and I doubt I ever will. And Andy on lead, we'll just be sitting there, and he just starts shredding. We hand him a basic riff, and he just does a perfect lead over it with no prep, and we're like, what the apps?
Yeah. Every time before we play a show, he'll just start noodling around, and I'll listen to him noodle, and I'm like, there are 3, like, songs just, like, sitting there, and he's just noodling around. He's like, oh, they're nothing crazy. And I'm just like, that would have taken me months to get that out. And everybody contributes something. We all have raw creative talent in our instrument. Like, I don't know, we're all the boys on the block. No one can really step into our shoes, frankly, and it's an amazing feeling.
And we generally trust each other in terms of those. If one of us is talking about their portion and says, I got to kind of call it here, I think this change really should happen to be smoother, we just go, yep, that's your section. That's going to work. And so far, every time that's been done, end result sounds better than we could have had.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I guess I'll have you talk about the Wisconsin metal scene and just kind of what do you think of it, and if there's any bands that you'd like to give a shout out to.
Yes.
The man of the town.
Shout out to Knifeback.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
we love you.
We love you.
We love you guys.
all the people at Knifeback, really.
Yeah.
Quincy's a great kisser.
The Wisconsin metal scene's really cool. I probably have been around most of it by now, and I definitely say my favorites have been the Milwaukee area. Toma, I've had some fun times out there. Around Toma and Crandon, I'm just going to tie those two together, that whole area. Everything up in like Woodruff, Winnequa area, that place is pretty fun.
Oh, yeah?
There's a lot of really good fests if you know to look for them. Just hop on the local metal pages. You just pay attention, you'll find them. There's probably like 10 you could go to every year.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And they've been bringing some pretty big bands out there lately.
Yeah.
You can see Casket Robbery at almost all of them, which is always great. Shout out to Casket Robbery also. We love you, Megan. But really, I mean, like, if you know where to look for it, there's a lot of stuff going on. I would like to say if you're willing to drive a little bit, you
Yeah.
could probably see a metal show once or twice every week.
Oh yeah.
That wouldn't be hard at all.
Yep.
So there's shows there if people want to see them. They're good. A lot of good bands out there. I would say if you like that type of music, you will almost always find a band locally that you would really enjoy. I mean, like if I feel like that's just the same case for all music, but
Yeah.
It's a very good variety.
go see shows. They're fun.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Speaking of which, we are hopefully going to be up in Green Bay later this January. On the bill at the moment with us is Sensory Bliss. If you want to talk about interesting genres, they're a real
They're
fun
very
group.
fun.
I believe that is the 27th. I want to say that's
Yep.
on there, January 27th. So if you're up in Green Bay, come say hi.
All right. Cool. All right. Let's see here. This kind of goes into it. The last one a little bit, but who are some bands that you'd like to play some shows with? Or just collaborate with in general.
I mean, if Lars Ulrich is listening right now.
Are we talking realistic, like in the scene, or are we talking like dreams here?
Maybe a little bit of both.
I'd say Queen and Dreams is definitely a band that we have a very good connection
yeah.
with.
Well, of course.
Them, King's Caravan, I really enjoy their music. I feel like we're trying to kind of move into like, not just like the heavier, areas and fan bases, but we're trying to like push to have more just like kind of like progressive, like melodic, kind of like empowered music, because there's really not a lot of that around here, and I feel like especially all the bands I've seen, there's only like a few that are what I'd even consider like power metal or anything around that area, which I think. And there's a lot of people that show up to the shows that we play with them. So I'm like, I know there's people that like want to hear this.
Oh yeah.
So we're like, why not? Well, like we've been trying to like kind of write more songs that are like less just straight like drive and like gutturals and stuff, and try to like venture more into like like that more kind of like
Progressive and like melodic aspect.
Yeah.
Back to the topic of Old Magic and Bitch, yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're really trying to make sure that we can like have something for everybody.
Mhm.
Because why not? I mean, like I feel like as musicians, it's good to be well-rounded and be able to like, be versed and just create various forms of whatever you're doing. I mean, I feel like if you just like start like repeating the same like formula over and over and over again, it's like, oh, this is what we sound like. It's like I feel like you're just dumping out like 10 albums of just like the same thing over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And like I feel like growth, especially as an artist, is a good thing that people can see, because it shows that you're like you're invested and you're trying, and you're like actually trying to like apply yourself and try to get better. Because if you're gonna do it, you might do it right. Might as well like, put in the time and effort to like hone your skills and stuff. Because why not? This is like, if this is what you want to do, or this is your like passion, you might as well like plunge.
Hone your craft.
Yeah.
Since he already got a couple of the local bands who we've played with and are definitely looking to play with again, shout out again to King's Caravan, and Queen of Dreams, Knife Battle.
Ego Death.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Our first show was with them.
Yeah.
We played with them last week, and
Oh,
it
that
was
was a
kind of
great
fun
show. Just
come full
all of
circle.
it. Since he's got the local ones on lock, if we are talking about on the topic of back to Lars and Mataga and all that, I would honestly take one of my bigger influences drumming right now is Trivium's Alex Bent. I would love to end up, more realistically, like opening a show for them somewhere in the Midwest. That would be fantastic. Just chat with the dude about that. But that or like Avenged Sevenfold, things of those takes, but those are definitely a little higher in the circuit space.
More of a pipe dream,
yeah. At least Trivium does there's like other smaller venues still, so it could happen.
I think Amorphous would be a fun one to play with.
Oh
yes,
yeah.
Yes.
Indeed.
Love me some
Amorphous. Andy, you got any?
Definitely going to be trying to play with Big Gravement.
Oh yeah, based out of Minneapolis, Twin
Kind
Cities
of going
area.
back and forth with
That's good.
Ezra did some guitar tracking for our album, and he's a really good guitar player, and I think their band would sync up with us pretty well live. So
Yeah.
We're trying to move some shows out in that direction this coming year, so
Yeah.
that could be
Nice.
good.
All right. Let's see here.
Shout out to Suture Soft.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
We
definitely.
love you, Seth.
So, what's everybody been listening to recently? And have you made any like new musical discoveries that have just like completely like blown your mind? as in terms of?
Well, my Spotify rap told me I was within Opeth's top 0.5% of listeners, so I'm pretty pretty locked down in that department.
Nice.
But I've been listening to like a lot of progressive metal, a lot of melodic death metal, so like Opeth, a little bit of Dream Theater. I really like Cataclysm, and Ryan tuned me into Catatonia recently.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, those guys are
cool.
If you're looking to feel really sad and melancholic, they are like the perfect band to just jam out to on a rainy day. Really good stuff. Otherwise, I like to really switch it up with like Bing Crosby and the Ink Spots and just band. Those are pretty much my two ends of the spectrum right there.
Yeah,
Honestly,
I've been listening to a lot of like extremely heavy, like brutal slamming death.
Oh yeah.
You know, like
On the
I've
other
listened
side.
to like a lot of like stillbirth and like anal FC and like organectomy and
Yeah.
like extermination.
The classic rock, though.
Dismemberment. All the really just like super chromatic, never go above the fourth fretch. But it's definitely been affecting my like
Big peepee caveman
my,
riffs.
like vocal style lately. I've noticed a lot of my shows I would just do like the it's fun. It's way too fun, and I'm like, oh man, these songs are supposed to be like melodic, and I'm up here just doing like my whatever deicide impression.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to bring out that inner caveman. You really do.
You just gotta.
There's a power metal band from England called Witch Hazel that I've been listening to a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Their new albums are really cool. I mean, I don't even know if I'd call it power metal. It's like classic heavy metal.
Yeah.
Have you heard?
I've heard a little bit of them. They're
It's
pretty
like
cool.
Knights Templar theme. It's really cool. I'm looking through my Majesties from Minneapolis. Their album Vast Reaches Unclaimed is really good. It's like a throwback to Old In Flames, Testament, Dying Fetus.
Yes.
Yeah.
I listen to a lot of
Fetus album's heavy.
like electronic music too, actually, but
Yeah.
Nice.
all over the place.
The Cure.
Yeah.
Mine is generally a base of the same music I've been listening to since the 2000s. You know, All That Remains,
Oh, sure.
Avenged, and all that. And then the most random side genres you could imagine. A do for Japanese singing, and I got some Sabaton in there. I got Joe Hisashi. I got a vinyl of his that just wrapped. He's the composer for Studio Ghibli movies
nice,
and all of their stuff, and just the most random video game soundtracks. It's just whatever floats by that I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting. And at some level, it gets some influences in there, and so my style is not really having a style at this point.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna get into some pretty fun ones here.
Oh,
This next one, I actually had this written out for the first interview, but we didn't get around to it. But it's who is a celebrity that you think you could beat in a fight?
Danny DeVito.
Way to punch down. That's a good one. I don't know. I kind of live under a rock, so I'm not really sure of who like celebrities are like in vogue these days.
we choosing the toughest that we can beat up,
I
or
feel like I
just
could roundhouse
smallest?
Rob Lowe. I could handle him pretty easily.
He's too handsome.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You just pick someone that's like super old.
Oh, that one hurts. I'll also just go with DeVito for now, just for the
Like,
humor
can I
of the
just pick, like,
situation.
the King of England? Does that work?
Charles or whatever.
Yeah.
We are now forever on a
Easy
list ban
fight.
from England.
Like, that'd be a really easy one. He wouldn't have to do much.
Yeah.
Just walk up, boo.
Just feel like his forehead just disintegrates.
Tips over. Oh boy.
5 blacklists.
Okay, so we've got another one. This goes back another one that was kind of, we did sort of touch upon this the last time, but there was on the last interview there was kind of a disturbing amount of talk about eating Connor, and so my question here is,
What did I miss?
We talk about eating you, but you're like a chicken wing with no meat on it.
If we were stuck on a desert island, it's like, who would you eat? And it's like, well, Ryan's the smallest. He probably doesn't got much meat on him. Everyone just turned to me, and I was like,
Yeah.
that's reasonable.
And I looked at him and just went, well.
I'm the beefy boy.
so my question here is if each of you had to cook Connor, what spices, sauces, or like
God,
side
it's so
dishes
pretty good in there.
would you serve him
I
with?
feel like it's definitely like a dry rub smoked down.
That's where the head chef comes in.
All I ask
those
is
big,
don't
like-
cook me well
like
done. That
the
would be
luau
a shame.
smoke pits for the pigs.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, I
Those
think
spatchcock straight down the middle, flattened out on a grill, embers underneath. Put a lid on it for 2 days. Come back, that stuff right off the bone.
It sounds delicious, I'll say.
When I look at him, I see a Wagyu with a nice marble to it. So I would just go straight for just a big old steak. Domestic Wagyu, really nice marble to
Fight
it.
me for it, though.
I've seen the size of Connor's backyard. He's considered free range at work.
Oh no.
He wrote off on it too, so it's still vegan, you know.
Oh boy. All right, let's see. Okay, this is a fun one. If there was a Monolith biopic, who would you want to play you in the movie?
Oh.
probably Danny DeVito.
All four roles in an Adam Sandler style.
Yes.
Like Jack and Jill. But it's all Danny DeVito, just with slightly different makeup. No voice change, whatever.
I think Tom Green would be me. He would play me pretty well.
I'm just picturing Danny DeVito trying to do impersonations of all of us now.
Just you,
I'd watch it.
Wonderful image.
just on the drum kit. Just anyway, I started blasting. Man, I don't know. I really wish I knew more celebrities.
I feel like I want Jack Black to be me.
But yeah,
Yes.
that'd be pretty
that'd be
good.
great.
Actually, pretty good.
Pretty good, yeah.
I feel like David Spade could do a pretty good impression of me.
Yeah.
I feel like we got
Yeah.
that dry Midwestern humor, yeah.
I bet Jack Black can do death metal vocals. He listens to a lot of
Oh
vocals.
yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, Jim Carrey can. I know that.
Oh yeah, Jim
Oh,
Carrey.
yeah.
can-
Seen
Jim
that
Carrey would be you. You would be
Napalm
Jim
Death.
Carrey.
Yeah.
Where he's talking about napalm death.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was- that was great.
That's one of my favorite bits of his is I wonder when this guy's gonna slow
Slow down
down and
and
start
sing some
to
duets.
You don't bring me flowers.
Country.
Yes, he would be probably best for Ryan.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I'll take DeVito in that case.
My favorite part about that is just the sheer height difference. You've got like a yard on him.
Oh yeah.
He's not the tallest, and I am a
He-
bit
he's
tall.
like
so yeah.
4 feet tall. I
Something like
think.
that.
Something like that.
Connor's like more feet tall.
All right. Let's see.
Every time one of these questions comes up, I just picture, ideally, if this continues on, a Monolith wiki someday, and it's just like the strangest questions ever answered by Monolith. On Watch Mojo, which of these people was described as Wisconsin Wagyu?
Like those little like cinema questions.
Yes.
When you're
Oh,
watching-
before a movie theater, which of these prominent death metal band members was described as a prime Wisconsin Wagyu?
Prime chop.
Was it?
Oh,
Dave
man.
Mustaine?
I've got a really weird one here. This
Oh,
is
this one's weird. Great.
okay. Who can fit the most golf balls in their mouth?
Me.
There was no hesitation there. I don't know. Ryan's got a pretty big mouth in every aspect. I feel like you could fit a lot. I feel like you got squirrel cheeks that could just really
they
stretch.
are like fucking.
Yeah, look at those things.
That is fair. He does.
Uh-huh.
Boy,
Like the
does got
little
the stretches
storage
gift.
pouches. I can just tuck them in.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say it's between us.
Yeah, probably.
Am I allowed
Okay.
to swallow them?
I think that's against the
maybe.
Does that count as holding it in your mouth? I mean, like it's still
It's-
wet
it's-
in
it's-
my mouth.
Let's be honest.
guess.
We're just a tube. Where in the tube does it matter?
That's one way of looking at it.
Not me. I got a small
Just
mouth.
pulls out a bucket. All right, start counting.
It'd be a horrible game of
This turns
Chubby
into an
Bunny.
eating contest.
No one leaves this room. So you all can fit collectively 40 golf balls in your mouth.
Oh, the new Jigsaw movie. I want
Would you like to play a game?
Don't ask why I did this. Just start eating the golf balls.
Before you use a basket of 40 golf balls.
It means something, but I haven't thought up the metaphor yet. So just do it.
Do not wash them.
You have 6 minutes.
All of a sudden, it's far, far worse.
Oh boy. All right, so here's one that I I get a feeling I know how this one's gonna end, but what's everyone's like zombie apocalypse plan? And like if you're trying to survive, like the group of the four of you, like who would have what role?
Probably be bait.
Frankly.
I'd be like, all right, you guys do all the work. I'm just gonna play acoustic guitar and entertain
You're
you.
the bar.
Yeah, he's the
bar.
You just sit in the bed.
I'm just good for morale.
This is Andy on top of Home Depot just playing some ballad.
Yep.
Honestly, that would help to a degree.
I do have an uncle who lives in the North Woods with land and firearms, so I would be useful for that at least.
That's good.
That's
good.
that's been pretty much my plan going forward. Is just find remote place, either home or cave or someplace, stock up and just chill. No one goes to. No one's going to be in the small towns out of Wisconsin, and even if they all turn to
I
zombies.
think it's like a benefit that we live in Wisconsin for that, because like you just have to survive
Population
one
density
winter
and all that.
cycle. And
Yeah.
you're like good to go.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I don't think anything that.
They just
that's
freeze
like,
up.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure they would just if they could die, they probably would just freeze.
God,
Yeah.
can you imagine if they don't, and then they just start thawing out every? It's like, it's
Oh,
it's
Lord.
spring thing. You got
I mean,
the
I think
dog
they
droppings,
probably,
you
like-
got the zombies.
There's like
They like wear
winter,
down
like,
over time.
Take a bunch of trucks and just put them in the back and just bury them.
Oh, when they're actually frozen, just go collect the
All right,
frozen
yeah,
bodies and
all
put
right.
them.
That's a good
Every
point.
year, let's go.
I would do it.
Harvest as many as we can.
Okay, kids, go find them. Poke them with a stick to see if they're still moving.
Nice. Not anybody had mentioned anything about eating Connor. I'm proud of you
No.
guys.
Oh, that's exclusively on deserted islands.
Yep, it's a very specific time.
Mm-hmm.
I think the goal would be to keep Connor from getting bit. Otherwise, as soon as he gets bit, everyone else is just going to be dead.
I'm just the tank.
He's surprisingly fast too.
I got some speed and strength.
He's
on
got
if
the-
he's a zombie on that little
Behind a kid.
unicycle he's got,
Yeah.
game over. he's got this like one wheel like motorized
Connor on the
unicycle. It gets
monowheel.
40 miles an hour. It's
just
done. We're
flying
over.
by, people just taking their head off.
Just close
Chomping on the way.
That would do it, yeah.
Mhm.
Terrifying.
They were about to stop the infection, and then Connor got it. And half of America was wiped out in the span of a month and a half.
Let's see. Let's do top 5 desert island albums.
Ooh, okay.
Huh.
So if I can only listen to 5 albums going forward.
Can I just bring 5 copies of The Lunar Strain?
In case I wear out the
I
other
guess.
4 from overplaying.
I want to make sure if they break, I have backup, and then my backup needs a backup.
The United States Navy Test Frequencies Volume 3.
That's a good one. I like Volume 7 actually. I like
I'd say Shogun by Trivium would be one for sure.
Absolutely,
That's
I would take
that's
that.
a great album.
I'll take that. I'll take Nightmare by Avenged Sevenfold, one of my top
That was
front to
pretty
back.
Ghost Reveries by Opeth.
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
That's
Jester Race.
Absolutely.
Jester Race is pretty good.
Follow the Reaper. Atlantis Ascendant by Balsagoth. And Rust in Peace.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
I would say probably The Gathering by Testament. I think that's my favorite by them, probably. Definitely Ghost Reverie. That one just slaps, dude. I might even do what's the one that Window panes on? Damnation by Opeth as well. That's a phenomenal prog rock album. Whatever the Staying Alive by the Bee Gees is on, I have not listened to the rest of the album, but
You just
I
have
at
one
least
track.
need that song.
You'll be staying alive on the island.
Exactly.
If I'm able to adjust it somewhat,
Mm-hmm.
the And Justice for Jason version of Injustice for
Oh,
All.
oh, yeah.
Yes, where you can
Yeah.
actually hear Jason on it.
Oh yeah.
Just
Yeah.
it. I'll take that just for like the basic plus answer there.
This is probably gonna win me a lot of enemies, but I think I might take Load. I really like
Really?
Load.
Honestly,
I'll
take a lot of that. Yeah.
I love 90s Metallica. It is like, if you listen to it as like dad rock and hard rock, phenomenal stuff. But if you listen to it as
Sure.
like Metallica, the thrash band, you're gonna get annoyed. You're gonna get mad.
They had stages,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. People, they had 3 or 4 albums that were all in the same path, and then went a different way, and
Mm-hmm.
you
And
have
they
to you
deviated
have to
again.
examine it from a different standpoint. Definitely for Saint Anger.
What do you mean? That's their magnum opus.
Great snare tone.
Yes, that's a masterclass in drumming, really.
I need a trash can. Should have gotten Sean Cran of Slipknot in there. He could have just smashed that.
Oh yeah, the beer
every time
keg.
he
Yeah.
hits
I
it.
definitely think I'd have to bring some more gear.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Probably
I do like
Death
Demon
Call. I
War
think
gear.
Death Call Armageddon would be a good one to bring.
Yeah, that's a good one.
The Fall of Ideals by All That Remains is probably my most listened to album on a daily basis.
Really?
Sounds
It's,
really good.
it's such an inspiration of my
It's a
drumming.
really good album.
It's so good.
The re-recorded Puritanical Misanthropic Euphoria and the re-recorded Stormblast are
Oh,
so
my God,
good.
Stormblast
Like the
is
re-recorded
really
ones
good.
are amazing.
They
Because
sound
that early
Like,
work
just
is
turn
so
it into
good,
a
but
club.
Yeah.
the quality is shit on those albums, on the early ones.
Yeah. It's kind of the fun of it, though.
Yeah.
The guitar tone has always been really heavy. I'd say there's probably a lot of slow work albums I would bring. Figure
Okay.
Number 5 is a really good one. Unabodum. That's good. I said the new Cataclysm album, Unconquered.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That one's
Mhm.
solid.
I only know Ambassador of Pain from them. Cataclysm, right?
Yeah, you should do a dive on them. They're good. They're
Oh,
good.
oh,
Yeah.
Unconquered, that first song, Kill Shot, is so good. Out of the gate, it's just got that really bouncy, like, genty
Mhm.
kind of, like, rhythm to it.
It was when I was just getting into double bass and like all my YouTube searches were fastest double bass. That popped
Yeah,
as one of
they'll
the
show
top
up.
ones. So I'll take a dive.
Yeah, they go dummy.
Like, Flesh God Apocalypse would be another good one to bring.
Ooh,
Oh yeah.
Eugene is ridiculous. Their current drummer, he is
Crazy
obscenely fast.
It's kind of like necessary to just be able to have like a snare that can just fly nonstop.
Pretty much.
Your third kick drum.
Oh yeah, I'm subscribed to him on YouTube. The dude is obscenely talented in terms of his technical prowess.
I forgot deodorant.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Dylan's just sniffing himself over here.
I got to whip something. It was like, oh, that is me.
Speaking of nasty smells here.
Sorry, that's me.
No. This plays into our next question.
Yeah.
Who in Monolith has the worst farts?
Oh, dude. Yeah,
Yeah.
I will wear that crown
Yeah.
with pride.
I have
no
been
question about
shocked
that.
at the distance. We have been at a live stage setting. It's not. There's airflow. There's air currents. Things tend to go away
you're
pretty
sitting
fast.
down.
He'll be over on the other side of the stage, and he just looks over with a smile at us. What are you doing? And 30 seconds later, opposite end, a windy room. I'm tear gassed. I'm just like, how? And he's just staring with this smile, like so proud.
Yeah, Lyndon B. Johnson actually did call me for inspiration for Operation Rolling Storm. And the napalm they used for Laos and Vietnam. I do good work. I do good work with the chemicals.
It's a diet of only pickled eggs.
And that was the
It's
inspiration.
dairy.
Breakfast, lunch, and
That was one of the inspirations for high-powered artillery.
There you go. That's
All
what the
part of the
lyrics
album.
I keep it
for that one
packing.
are.
Delightful.
All right, so we're getting kind of close to the end, so we're gonna
Yep.
ask if you got any upcoming shows and where you can find your music and your merch.
Yeah.
So I mentioned it earlier. Currently is going to be the next show, and the last probably for the season, unless anything changes, is going to be January 27th up in Green Bay, currently with Sensory Bliss. The group should be updated shortly, and that should be on platforms. You can find us online on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Bandcamp, pretty much anywhere you could find it, in every and all streaming service, pretty much everywhere. For that's just for the foot cam of the. I play barefoot, and that has been the running joke that. Now that we have cameras for the main show, we're just going to have an extra cam there, and that's going to be for the.
That's the moneymaker.
That's the moneymaker camera.
if Connor gets $100 donated in the stream, he takes his socks off.
Don't give me ideas. Anyway, and we should hopefully have a dedicated site soon with just straight everything on it. For now, you can get our CD, which is out now, in physical copies over on Bandcamp. And to search Monolith on there, and you'll find it, or Monolith Band, I believe, and all the links are on the different sites. And we should have vinyls shortly. They are in production. And from there, we're also going to be keeping our shows up to date. We're planning on a pretty hefty amount for this coming year to help support the album and upcoming stuff, of course. So we hope to see you there.
All right. So I have one last question, and so last time we had the question of does pineapple belong on pizza, and it came out to kind of like a tie. So we need Ryan here to break that tie. What is the official?
I would eat it if it was there.
Okay.
If you had a, office party, bunch of pizzas out, I'd grab one.
This
All right.
man is to a degree a bit of a black hole of consumption. Whatever is available at a show that has been put out by the venue is going to get Kirby'd. He's just going to vacuum it up. He's like, so what was that again? He may ask after intaking it. That one. I'm totally allergic. I'm fine.
I have no idea where it goes though.
Honest to God, the man.
Analyze if it's edible and I'm good to go.
And a lot of it's like someone hands you a bottle. Hey, is this perfume or alcohol? I was preferring for John Mulaney, but
Nice. Yeah, so there you have it. Monolith says maybe to pineapple on pizza.
we are so indecisive.
But yeah, it was. That's pretty much all the time we got for there. But again,
Thank you for having us back out.
yeah, of course. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, man.
Of course.
And we're gonna get into our last song here. We were going with was it
Manifest.
Manifest. All right, let's get her rolling.